Okay, so it looks like we are live. It says the health is good. It is streaming. Please let me know if anybody jumps in and decides to watch this. I do see some questions here. I'll just wait for me to come up here and I will type something in chat real quick. Looks like I'm up now. So I am going to play hopefully one game, if not two games. The first one is going to be Storm versus Thanos. And these are decks. You can see the deck list in the description of the video on YouTube. Now, those are the original decks from the top 8 in the 10K at Gen Con. And so, but I have done some tweaks to those. But the deck lists you see are the ones that were in Gen Con. So there's a Star-Lord deck, which we can see here. I'm not playing that right now. That's the one that actually won the 10K. And then there was a lot of Thanos decks. We can see Thanos over here. And then there's Storm deck with second place. So good, everybody can see me, it looks like there. Let me know if the sound is off or anything, because I think I got it all figured out, but you never know with this stuff. They keep changing the rules, so to speak. Let's see here. I do have a feeling that my sound is off. Let's take a look at that. Sorry. Should be a delay. Sorry, just a minute. Let's see, computer properties. That's got a delay too. Okay. Well, anyway, so we're going to start playing. If you don't know how to play, then I'll kind of walk you through it. I have two decks here, two hands, and I've got the mulligans taken care of, so we don't have to do any of that. And yes, you can make, I made 3 competitive decks here. So this is sort of part of what I tweaked in the game was sort of, you know, some of the cards are used in multiple decks and stuff like that. So these are 3 decks. I do play them against each other. The ones that I do have, this Star-Lord deck, the one that won the 10K, this is exactly like that. The other 2, there's modifications to the Storm deck, which was second place, and then I kind of picked what I thought was the better Thanos deck and then tweaked it. It's got the Hulk drop at 7. So we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Here's Storm. I'll try to be a little bit quick here. Now, of course, you have character abilities to level up. Storm, every time you use a superpower, you're going to put an XP token on here, and what you're trying to do is get to the level 2 Storm, and she can give all her characters flight, and the deck itself, more than her, is pretty quick. So this is more of a rushing type of deck. Now, if we take a look over here at Thanos, he gets an XP whenever a character gets KO'd. Anybody, any side or whatever. Now, what he's trying to get out is his level 2, which is his Infinity Gauntlet. And this is pretty cool if you can read that. It says you need one of each location type. You can see that there. For each player, you stun their main character, KO one of the resources, KO one of the supporting characters, and discard a card. So it's just a really nasty, dirty thing. But it does take some time to get out, and you have to level him up. And if you take a look here, you can see that it takes actually 6 XP to level him up, which is on the high end there. So back to here, and then I'm going to do my old thing, even or odd. And so if it's odd, Storm will go first. If it's even, okay, so Thanos is going to go first. I was just looking at the cost there. So Thanos is going to take a look here, and we're going to take a look at the cards he's got. And so he's got a location. Like I said, I already decided the mulligan and stuff. So he's got a location. That's going to be an easy call, right, to put out. So we're going to go ahead and put the location out on the board. And this will be face up here in the back. So you got the back row and the front row. And I just both heroes in the front row. So, excuse me, both characters. So we're going to go back to the hand here. So I've got nothing I can play. So that's going to be a pretty quick turn for Thanos. Now I could, if I wanted to, attack with Thanos. Let's see what we got here. We have a 3-4 for Thanos, and then we have a 2-5 for Storm. So that they're just going to trade off each other. So he's going to pass. Now we're going to go to Storm. Now she's going to draw 2 cards off the top of her deck because the first player doesn't draw the cards. So let's take a look at Storm's idea here. We'll look here. So we have this cool location, which gives us the possibility of multiple symbols, but it only works for You can see here the X-Men characters. And that's probably okay. I don't really have any X-Men here. I got 2 Icemen. The rest are different characters that aren't X-Men. But we'll go ahead and just throw this one down anyway. So that's going to go in the back row for her. Actually, I'm going to move that up there. Sorry for that. And now I have the ability to summon somebody. And I can get the Iceman out here. And this is a 1 cost. And he's got range. And he says, when he appears, exhaust a character it can't ready during its next turn. Pretty dirty. So we're going to go ahead and put him out. We're going to use the 1, get him out there. We're going to exhaust Thanos here. And I'll just put a little, put a XP token on him, because you don't put XP on the main characters, you always put it on the level 2. So just to remind me not to untap him. So he's come out now. And now I have a total attack of 4 between Storm and Iceman. And Thanos has defense of 4, and there's nothing really he can activate on this turn here. So let me take a look at Thanos's plot twist real quick. I'm not going to show anybody. Let's see, that's not going to work. Okay. See, I'm going to try to keep it sort of surprising. So I have 2 plot twists that I could throw out. Okay. Yeah. So Thanos might do that. So what I'm going to do, actually no. Well, here's the thing. Let me do a little bit of a think here, because if they both attack him, Thanos is going to hit back on Iceman. Iceman's going to KO because he's only got the 1 health. You can see here the 1 health there. So if it had more than 1, it would just stun and then eventually KO. But I may not actually attack with him, and he's going to be exhausted anyway. So I'm not going to attack because that's just going to give Thanos XP, right? So there you go. All right, so that's the end of that turn. And now he's not going to untap, and we're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards for Thanos. Let's see what we got here. So we have this. We got another location, which is good because, as you can see, there was no more locations in our hand. So we're going to go ahead and put this out here. Now we've got 2 resources, and I thought I had a 2-drop. Yep, that's why I didn't mulligan away that. So I've got Ronan here. And if we take a look here, he has an ability that he can trigger, which we can't do because he's not an Avenger. The only location we have with that symbol out there is for Avengers. And it says, name any card, choose an enemy player to reveal. This is kind of hard to play solo, I would guess. So I'll try to metagame it, like, you know, sort of go through that. Because if you were playing, one thing that people use is like the Sabretooth. And he's the 4-drop that everybody calls. So you might actually do that. So we'll go ahead and just put him out here, like so. We've used our 2 resources there. And now we have a 3/3, and he's a decent 2-drop for that. And so we could have him now go ahead and try to attack Iceman. And let's have a look-see. I probably should have put Iceman in the back, now that I'm thinking about it. I think I'm going to go ahead and do sort of, I'm going to pull what we call in our group a Tom and put him in the back because I was too busy talking to people. Yeah, mine are kind of chipped, but they haven't, beyond the initial chipping, they haven't chipped much further. So I've played this 12 times, I think, around there. And so I haven't been, you know, I haven't really chipped them. I shuffle them enough, but I'm pretty careful with them in general. You know, I don't like smash them around. I'm going to go ahead and move Iceman in the back. I know that's sort of cheating, but so he's here. He can get at Storm, but he's not going to be able to do any damage. So enough with that. So that's that turn. So now we're going to draw 2 more cards here for the Storm deck. And then we're going to put 1 there, another Iceman. That's good. So I've got 2 Icemen actually in here. And remember, you can use an Iceman to actually power up another one. You give him a +1/+1 counter when you discard like that. That's pretty cool. And then I have a Daredevil. So we need to put out this location here. We're going to go ahead and put this location out. And then I've got the choice now. No, I don't have a choice. I thought I had another 2. So we're going to put out Daredevil. And so he can't be ranged attacked. And while attacking a main character, Daredevil strikes with double his attack, which is awesome. So he's actually going to have a 6 if I swing him at Thanos, which is pretty cool. Now he's still weak. He's got only 1 hit point, so to speak. So we're going to go ahead and throw him out. And we'll put him out here on the top. And we're going to go ahead and get a swing in on Thanos because we can't let his deck go along too long without really, doing any kind of damage here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my plot twist again real quick. Yes, yes. Okay. I'm going to say they can't team attack because it's X-Men and Avenger. You have to be on the same team. So I could do some arranging of the formation here. I could move him up here to be able to team attack with Storm and Iceman because this guy has 3 health and I can't really do any damage, and I don't really have any buffs to the attack here. Oh, I do. I do have a buff, but it's only a +1. All right, screw it. Let's just do like so. We're gonna have Iceman back here, and then we're gonna have him go ahead and attack Ronan. All right. So then we're gonna play this card here. This give him a lift, and you can see you can play this on a character on your side. It gets flight this turn, and the reason I'm doing that is because he's in the back. He's got range. He can. Well, he doesn't need the flight, I should say, but he needs the +1. But he's got range, and so he's going to get up to 3 attacks. So we'll go ahead and discard that. He's got the +1/+1. So he's a 3/2 right now. And he can't do any damage back to him because it's range, and it's sort of like, he's shooting him, and he doesn't have range, so he can't hit him back. So he's going to go ahead and swing at him, like so, with 3 damage. Now, if we take a look at what these guys have. Now, unfortunately, we have this Avenger card, and he could get +2 this combat, but Ronan is not, of course, an Avenger. So Ronan is going to take a stun, but he's got, as you can see, 2 health, so that's not so bad. He's going to be stunned, and then he's going to have a wound on him there. We're going to put that little X on him. So that's that attack. And then we're going to have Daredevil just go ahead and swing away here at Thanos, and he's going to have 6 attack, remember, because he gets his little buffer there. Now, if I'm going to take a quick look again. 3, 6. Okay, so we will play this card here. Let's take a look at it as Thanos. Now, Thanos has this one, which is switch the current attack and defense of the character in his combat. So this, instead of a 6/3, this is now a 3/6. So if we take a look at Thanos, he has 3/4. So instead of Thanos getting stunned, this is going to actually stun now and KO Daredevil. All right, now let me just take a quick look at the... Yeah, so there's no buffs or anything like that. So Daredevil's going to get stunned. He's going to go to the KO pile, and I'm just going to go ahead and move this XP over here because he's going to untap on his next turn anyway. So that backfired. You can see that happening again. I'm trying to second guess myself. Trying to play this double-fisted, but I play this a lot. So, all right, so that happened. Now Storm could jump in. She's got 2/5, but they're just going to swap. So that's done there. So the Trickster, this is going to go in his discard pile, and then we're going to go to Thanos' turn. So we're going to take a look at what he's got. We're going to draw 2 cards. Okay, so we got Nick Fury, which is awesome. Nick Fury and Thanos working together are a good team. And then Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is another one of these +2/+2s. And you can see I've also got other Avengers in here. Luke Cage, which is pretty decent. That's a villain there. And then that's another villain, the Green Goblin. So let's take a look up here. Now I have no locations in my hand. I've just got these. Now I've got Dormammu, but I like the Hulk better. Turn 7's a long ways away. I'm going to throw this down here. I've got a couple of Hulks in there that I like to pull out instead. So that's going to give me to 3 resources, and then I've got Nick Fury. So let's take a look at Nick Fury here. Now Nick Fury has this ability, which we have the Avenger Mansion to activate, and it says put the top card of your deck face down into your resource row. If it's a location, you may turn it face up. So we can throw him out here, and I should have recovered these 2. So he's still got his wound. Okay. Now if we take a look here, whoops, sorry, didn't switch the camera. So he's got range. We can park him back here. He's up here with a wound, and we have the other side like this. So he can go ahead and activate that ability. I feel like I'm forgetting something special about him. Sorry. It has been about 2 weeks since I played this game. Let me take a look here. Main. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. There's somebody else's ability that when you go in, you have to do it during the recruit step. I was thinking of that. And let me just double check. No, this is during the main step. Okay. So here's the trick though. The tricky part about this deck is if I use his ability to sort of speed up and get to the Hulk, that sort of goes against the ability of the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's hard to pull that off. And that's why I like this Thanos deck a little bit better, because it's not really so much focused on the Infinity Gauntlet, it's still focused on the other cool parts of Thanos. And you kind of like, it's like Thanos and the Hulk working together, which is hilarious. So, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one here. And I can't use this with Thanos anyway, so there's that. So I do that, and then I get to flip this up. Okay, that was Luke Cage, and then we're gonna throw that down. So see, we've now aggressively ramped up with the 4 resources there. Okay, so now we can move into the attack step. I want to make sure I want this formation. That's probably fine. I want to smack down Storm. Okay. She's got 5 health. We've got 6 attack here. And if I KO this guy, that's okay because Thanos' ability will trigger. So if I do a team attack on Storm, then I'm going to go ahead and team attack them. And so just a little food for thought there. I might have tried to hide Storm. And I don't know. If somebody can tell me how to kick that guy, I will. There we go. Bam. See you later. Okay. So there we go. Sorry about the language from that person. Yeah, so I might have tried to hide Storm here. Just because she's obviously susceptible. And that's a big part of sort of the decision you have to make. That's going to kind of change from game to game. So we're going to go throw 6 at Storm. And so as the attacker, I will get the initiative here. Let me, in terms of plot twists. Now, I could throw down, just a sort of edification thing. This one here, I could do a -1/-1 counter on Storm. But it's going to get wiped out anyway when we stun her. So now let's see. So I'm going to pass as the attacker. So let's go ahead and take a look at... Okay, so I could do this. I don't know if it's early enough that I should do this here. Uncanny defense. Remove a defender on your side from combat and replace it with a different character on your side. Switch their positions. So I could have them go at Iceman here. Now Iceman, here's the tricky thing with Thanos, right? Iceman's got a 3/1. I could swap these just to avoid having Storm get KO'd. I can tell you right now, the Storm deck is not going to win this game because it's just I've played this scenario a few times. Just the way things are going. So then he can hit him back, but that's 2 KOs now to put 2 more XP on Thanos. That protects Storm, though, from dying. And she hasn't used any of her special abilities yet. She could do this to put 2 -1/-1 counters, divide as you choose on the 2 enemy characters. I do have that ability here. So if I did that, that would be 6. Actually, so okay, so instead of playing that, let's do that, because that's going to give her an XP. I'm going to activate this ability. That's going to give her an XP, because I did a superpower. And then I can do 2 -1/-1s. And so this is going to go, I'm going to put them both on. I want to kind of try to stun him. I'm going to put them both on Thanos, I think. I can do them on each, though. Because then the total attack is only 4. I kind of want to like double down, I would think, on Thanos or spread them out. I'm going to do them on both. That seems smarter. So there's 4. Okay, now I don't have any other special abilities. Well, now I might, as Thanos, go back to here, put a -1/-1 counter just to get that onto Storm so she does take a stun. So I think I'm going to do that. So there we go. So we played that. We put the -1 on Storm. So now she's at 4 health. And so she is going to stun. So we'll stun her. This will remove this when she stuns. Right? And she's going to hit back. She's not going to be able to stun Thanos anyway, but she might as well remove this just for a little bit of board control. But that is going to give an XP here to Thanos, which we didn't really want. Which is fine, that's just going to happen. Okay, so that was that. This ranged guy here, now he's not going to do anything. He's only got one attack. He could ranged attack to Iceman now that the front row is clear, but he has 2 health, and so there's no way to for him to buff him up. Oh, no, I could, because he's got the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Oh, I'm totally going to do that. All right, so if we take a look here, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, character gets +2/+2. I think we're going to do that and push the advantage. And so he's going to do that. So he's now got 3/7. And do we have a response for that? Nope, because Uncanny Defense, there's nobody to swap with to use this card. So he's going to take a stun, and he's going to die or get KO'd. And that's going to put another XP here on Thanos. I'm just going to flip over one of these because they say 1 and 3 on each side. All right. So not doing so hot for Storm. Storm's going to recover on her turn. We're going to draw 2 cards for Storm. Okie dokie. So we got Rocket, and we have now a location, an academy, and that's, I think, we're going to put that out there. And the other 3 drops I have is I have Rocket and Deadpool. So let's take a look at these 2. So Rocket, let's take a look there. So put a card from your chaos pile into your hand. He's a 4/1. He's only got 1 health. And then we have Deadpool here. And this guy is, he can team attack with any main character. Pretty cool. And we have this ability which we can activate. We do have a location for that. If Deadpool is in your KO pile, put him into play. So that doesn't really matter. I don't know why I read that. Alright, so he's going to come out. We're going to do Deadpool. He's got a 3/4. He's a little bit stronger than Rocket. Now, he can team attack. So that's 5. And he needs to be in the front row, though, because you can't team attack if they're in separate rows. Alrighty. And he could attack. I think we're just going to team attack Thanos, because screw it. I would like to activate an ability, but there's nothing really to activate. Nope. Okay, so a simple 5 on 3. And he's got only 2 back, so he can't hurt either of these anyway. So he's going to do that. We're going to pass as far as the attacker goes, and we have no special abilities or anything like that. So Thanos is going to take a stun, which will remove the -1, and we're going to stun him. So let's recover here in a second anyway, and we do like so. And then we're going to pass over to Thanos' turn, so we will recover him. So each character has a stun, and they both have, oh, Thanos has 6 health, and Storm has 5. So we're going to go ahead and draw these locations here. Draw 2 cards for Thanos. We have another Ronin, and we have another Nick Fury. So let's take a look here. I'll tell you what I am going to do is I'm going to use this Goblin here. I'm going to make that a resource because I've already got, well, no, I don't really have much else to play. So if I put Goblin, I'm going to make, well, what's Goblin do again? When he appears, choose an enemy, put a -1. Okay. That's a little bit better than Ronin trying to guess at a card there. So Ronin's going to be my resource. So we're going to go out here. Now we're up to 5. And so that ramp up, see how quickly we ramp up, but we don't have a good drop to throw out. So we're going to throw out the Goblin. We'll put him up front here. Oh, no. Sorry. There's Luke Cage. Let's take a look at Luke Cage. Sorry. It's hard to manage the camera and the hand. So here we go. Combat. If Luke Cage gets stunned during this combat, he doesn't receive a wound. And he's a decent, at least for this board state, he's a decent count. 7/6. Okay, so he's going to come out at the 5. He's going to be up front there. And he is an Avenger, so of course we can use Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This is the +2/+2 here. Well, we should just go right after Storm. Alrighty. And Storm is a 5. This is a 7/6. He can swing at her by himself. And then probably have these 2 go after Deadpool. Storm will hit with 2 back. There's no danger there, so she'd have to buff him twice. So he's going to swing by himself. Just a little bit of math there. Now I could play this Uncanny Defenses here. I don't really see why though, because this is a definite big advantage over, um, well, this only totals to 4, so I'm going to go ahead and play that actually. So these two will technically swap sides. I'll play this uncanny defenses. So now Storm is the target of the, or excuse me, Deadpool's the target of the attack, and we're going to sort of prevent a stun on Storm, and so but Deadpool's going to get KO'd. He's not going to do any damage back to Luke Cage. Thanos is going to get his 4th XP, so he's really ramped up, and Storm has only got 1 XP. And XP is not always the end-all be-all of the game, but I mean it certainly helps. So there's that, and then these two, now they can't team attack anyway. So that was a good play. So even if we could team attack with them, I mean, we can't hit her anyway. So there's no way for them to beef up. So Thanos is just going to take it easy, try to get some card advantage there. So there's that, and now Storm will recover. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 2 cards from the Storm deck. Another location, which is good. Storm can use that. And then we have Squad Tactics, which is an X-Men card +1/+1 counter. And forgive me for a minute, I'm just going to take a look. Make sure people are watching. That's good. Alrighty. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put out the laboratory. Just going to move these over a little bit so I bunch them up. So we've now got 4 resources there. And this one is we can put 2 -1/-1 counters, the values you choose on the enemy character, so I can use that again. And we're at 4. So I could bring out, well, I have really no choice. All I have is Rockets and Icemen in my hand. Which is funny because I started the game out thinking, oh, okay, cool, I've got these characters, these are low, I can get going, and that's all I've drawn really is these lower characters here. And now these guys, he can't team attack with them. But I can activate this ability to give me another XP. And what's her XP target again? It is 3. So she only needs 1 more XP after this. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And this is going to be 2 -1/-1 counters. We might throw him on Luke Cage. That'll bring him down to a 5-4. And he'll be stunnable with the rocket here. Or these two. And he's a big beefcake right now. Or we could throw him on Thanos and bring him down or split him. And let's see, can we stun Thanos right now? So we have 4 here and 4 here. Thanos is going to level up, though, pretty quickly if we're not too careful, which is unfortunate. Because we have these weaker defending characters, which aren't really good right now. Let's see. So I'm going to put them both on Luke Cage. Oops, that's not a 3. And then I've got nothing else, but I can beef up the characters. If you see here, I've got those 3. So I can beef up Rocket and Iceman a couple of times. And I've got Squad Tactic, which I can put a counter on. So I'm not in awful shape. I'm just not in very great shape. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Rocket attack Luke Cage. Like so. So we're going to have Rocket attack Luke Cage. And that's it. Oh, he's got 4. He can try to stun him. Now Thanos, of course, has, let's see, they have this Earth's Mightiest Heroes again. Now that's a +2/+2. But they can also activate that ability not to take a stun. They don't have a location to do that. So would I want to play this as the Thanos player? I would say probably I would. Knowing myself, I would play it trying to keep him alive because he's decently statted against everybody. So I would do that. And then now he's back up to basically what he was. I will still leave the counters there, but he's basically a 7/6. So I need 2 more from Rocket. Yeah, so instead of the Squad Tactics, I'll discard both of these Rockets here, and this will bump him up. I'm not going to bother putting the counters on him because he's going to get stunned and KO'd. So he's going to do that. He's going to stun him. And so they're both going to stun and KO. So we're going to get 2 more XP on Thanos, which is going to level him up. So that's bad. Because now he's got Infinity Gauntlet and he's a 6/6. So if we take a look here, you can see there's his stats there. He's a 6/6 there. So he goes out. He still retains his stun. And this will swap out over here. Luke Cage is dead. They're KO'd. So I didn't think that through because I was thinking I can attack Thanos. And then, well, I could do another Tom. I'm going to do it because actually I think yeah, I totally would. I didn't even think that through at all because I'm going to do, sorry. Let's just play that. We're just, we're theory crafting here, right? So that was dumb. I did recently. So instead of attacking with him first, what I'm going to do now is attack Thanos first. If he's stunned, his level up thing isn't available because he's face down, right? And so I attack him with these two. I do the squad tactics here if I need to, which I won't need to. Well, I can do a +1/+1 in each character in combat. And that's kind of nice because I'll get a +1 on Storm. I think it's probably a waste, actually, right now because these will each go on here like so. He's going to get stunned anyway. That will put an XP on Thanos. And then, yeah, but then this one will go away and I'll have one on there. I'm going to save it. I think I'll save it. Sorry for the waffling there. All right, so she's going to do this. And she's just going to have the 4 on him. He's going to stun. Like so. And then he'll get KO'd. So he gets the, well, he won't get the XP because he's stunned. And then the other 2 XP won't be on here. So we had, what were we at? We were at 4 XP before we did that. Sorry. Okay, sorry, a little bit of a take backsy. But obviously I'm trying to play both of these at the same time. And he now has 2 stuns on him instead of 1. So that worked out pretty well. And Storm, of course, is tapped. And then we go back to resolving that. He's gone. Okay, everybody caught up? That makes sense? All right. So that was Storm's turn. Now we're going to go back to Thanos' turn. And we'll take a look over here. And so we have 2 locations, one of which is, or 2 of which have this little golden ability. And then we can do, what's his name? Nick Fury. But we have no Hulk, so that kind of sucks. So we'll throw out the, I don't know, who cares? We'll throw out the Avenger one. Let me stack these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think the second expansion, or the first expansion, the second set, they're going to have some digging through the deck cards, hopefully. And I don't really have a whole lot else to play here except for a Goblin. I should have recovered Thanos. Okay. So he could activate that. I don't want to activate that because I'll liable to end up milling a Hulk in there. And I'm already like have way more resources than the other player here. Okay, so Storm. Storm has 5 health. She's got a whole lot on there. So if I hit her with everybody, I can't. Like these 2 can team attack. That'll be 7. Yep, that's the total team attack right there. And that's on Storm. Storm has that tactics card. That'll just give her a +1, which will put her at 6 health and 3 attacks, so she could hit Goblin back, which will give Thanos an XP. But it keeps the board clear. See, that's the tough decision when you play against Thanos. Or she takes her second stun and doesn't stun anybody back. If I could get her to 4, I would do something like that because then that would stun Thanos. Let's see now. Just going to take it. So he stuns. Sometimes it's better to take it. This is an interesting part about this game, actually. Is now he's got Nick Fury and he's got nothing he can do, So in some ways you can sort of like let the initiative kind of swing back to you in a lot of ways, which is interesting. Okay, so that's that. We'll go back here like so. And then we're going to draw 2 cards for Storm's deck. Okay, let's see, check them out. Fortress, which is good. And another +1/+1. So we'll put out this Fortress. And we're going to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're one behind. And we have an Iceman. And Iceman comes into play. Did I forget to do that last time? I did. I did forget to do that. Nobody caught me on that. Ah. When he comes into play, you can exhaust a character you can't ready during its next turn. That would have changed things a lot. Dang it. Oh well. So just keep that in mind. So this deck isn't as bad as it seems. Okay. Okay, so the he comes out. I can exhaust somebody. I think I'm gonna stick Thanos with that because he's got flight though. 4/3. I don't care about Thanos. I'm gonna just do it on the Goblin so he doesn't. He's already exhausted, but he won't untap. And so these two could team attack if I wanted. They can hit Thanos again. That would give him his third stun. That might be worth it. In this case, it might be worth it because he'll be halfway dead. Storm is about almost halfway dead, but he's going to give him an XP. This one, why would we attack him? There's no reason to do that. So we're going to swing at Thanos for 4. Do we have anything here? We could get a +1, and he gets flight. Who cares about that? And then we could do another. Then we're out of cards, though. That's bad. So let's just leave it. We can always play these, right? This one's main, though. This one has, I'll just let these go. So this is going to be 4 swinging at Thanos. Thanos has anything to do? No. We could discard this location to. Nope, that's a main thing. All right, never mind. Being silly. So 4 on Thanos. Thanos takes a stun. These flip over, and these show 3 stuns on the side too. So he takes a stun, but of course he's going to hit back Iceman. Iceman, so he gets another XP. So he's at 5 XP. And that's not so bad because he's not going to be able to get his last XP to level up. Because I'm not going to put any more characters out. Storm will probably get stunned. Now Thanos can't untap. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to bring these up. Thanos is going to stay. Oh, no. The Goblin is not going to tap. So I'm sorry. I decided that. So he stays tapped. He's like that. All right. And there's no other supporting characters for me to stun and KO to get... well, he could run somebody into Storm, but she doesn't have enough to KO anybody anyway. All right. There we go. 3. Let's see. What else we got here for Thanos? Let me move this over slightly. There we go. Doc Ock and another Green Goblin. Really drawn my small ball each deck. All right, we're going to throw out the Academy. All right, let's go back up here. So I'll just throw this on top. Separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, if I had the Hulk right now, then I would just go in and like destroy everybody. And I put that Dormammu in there, and now I'm regretting that. Okay, so we can have Thanos attack. See, neither one of these can get in there. Just missing your drop. Both sides missing drops. Now we could put out Doc Ock. So let's take a look at Doc Ock. All right, and this is the only game I'm gonna be able to get in because I'm kind of walking through this too much. I was gonna play Star-Lord versus Thanos as well, but it seems like Thanos wins that particular battle more often, and then Storm loses to Star-Lord, and Storm seems to do okay and beat actually Thanos here. But anyway, that's just what I've seen. While he's in the front row, enemy characters can't fly over him because he has grab. At the start of your turn, if he's face up, you may draw a card. Well, let's just put that in there because we're missing our drops anyway. So we'll throw him here. I have to remember to do that. Whoops. Okay, so those are out. We do have power-ups for Nick Fury and the Goblin, which is good. And we're going to swing at Storm. We need to hit Storm. That's Doc Ock. We'll send Doc Ock and Thanos. And she's not going to be able to stun him back as far as I know, right? So there's 6. And there's 2. Now I could try to throw This one I can't use, but this one here I can throw a +1. That'll give him 3. But that's not going to do any good for Storm. So Storm will take another stun and not be able to stun anybody back. And then that will be the end of the turn. The Storm is up, so like that. And now we're going to go to Storm's draw. 2 cards. Agent Venom, I swear to God. Oh my gosh. 2-drop and a plot twist. Okay. So what are we going to do? All right. So to me, this is where the crybabies start chiming in and like the game is random and luck suck. But to me, this is interesting because honestly, I don't know that I've had a game, maybe one, I don't know, that everybody was missing drops like this, and it's still kind of interesting, like decisions, you know. I mean, that's part of the game. So I can put a resource down. I don't want to put. I want to get a guy out, I guess. I mean, Thanos might actually get this. I'm going to put this Bamf out as a resource. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I need that? I don't really have that many high drops in here. I'm trying to remember what my 7-drop is. Let me look at the old deck list. I forgot what's in here. Let's see. Oh, I have Storm. Yeah, this is little ones. Storm is just to beef her up, though. Actually, I'm not going to play a resource. So that's fine. We don't need another resource for her. That's just silly. Now, he is a Guardians of the Galaxy, which is too bad. Oh, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Agent Venom. So I could do that. That's going to... Didn't I? Oh, I didn't give her an XP. I was like, I thought I used another ability. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do another one. This is good. To put 2 +1/+1s on him. So now instead of a 3/3, he's a 5/5, which is decent, especially for a 2-drop. Then we're going to swap her out here. Now she's a 5/6, so she's got a little bit more cool special abilities. And let's take a look at her stats here and stuff. So we have put 2 -1/-1 counters like we did before. And then characters on your side gain flight this turn, which is cool because they can go and reach the main character who maybe the opponent's trying to hide, which is cool. All right. And then we have, whoops, sorry, lost my thing. We have, she's a 5/6, so that's much better. So we can actually do a little bit of damage with her. And so she's going to stay in front. He's going to stay in front because he can't attack from the back row anyway. Now, if we keep him alive, we can start to beef him up because we have 2 more. Oh, excuse me, only 1 more. So we can get another 2 out there. So we got a 5/6. Thanos is not leveled up yet. So you can see that decision to attack in a certain order is huge. That's a huge decision. You can't screw that kind of stuff up. Now, we're playing coffee table, kitchen table kind of atmosphere here, which is how I normally play. But if you're in a tournament, you would have lost the game as the Storm player, and you still really had a good chance. This is why Versus is amazing. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, overhyping it a little bit there. Basically, I'm saying don't be an idiot. All right. Oh, now see that when I say things online, it sounds harsher than I mean. I mean, that would be a mistake that I've made, you know. So anyway, sorry. Try not to be. It's hard when you talk to strangers. All right, let's go on. 5 and 5 attack. So who can we hit? I really care about Thanos because I know I need is 3 more stuns. 5/6 on a 3/4. And I can actually do some of this stuff here. So here's a +1 counter here. This is, I can put this on anybody. It's a Guardian of the Galaxy, and they get flight. So I know, here's the thing, is I know they don't have that sick plot twist that removes all the +1 counters, which is in, I believe, my Star-Lord deck. I want to say, no. Is it in my Thanos deck? I don't want to cheat. Okay, I'm going to pretend that I don't think that they have the, there's a plot twist card, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It wipes out all of the counters off the guy, so I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'm going to give it to Storm. So I'm just doing that to give her the +1 because remember those stay on there until they get stunned. So now she's a 6/7, and I don't care about this. And then I can put a +1/+1 combat on each character on your side in combat. Now they can't team attack. So she's a 7 or she's a 6/7. She's gonna swing at Thanos, mano a mano, as you say, or neither one of them are men. She's a female, and Thanos is not a thing. He's a thing. Now, Thanos has nothing to do, so I don't know what Spanish word is that. So, Storm versus Thanos. Here we go. So he's going to take a hit, and we're going to keep him for getting his XP. So that's going to be 4 stuns on Thanos. And so she's done her hit there. And now he can hit 5, 5. Oh, just if you're wondering, I can't do this twice because you can only activate each superpower once per turn. So I mean, he can get to a 7/7, just not this turn. So I kind of feel like I should have given him flight and then hit the guy in the back, just because that's an easy sort of stun. But I'm going to swing at Doc Ock because that's the draw card. Okay? Now, does he have a Doc Ock? No Doc Ock. All right. So he's dead. And there's no extra. That's a free. I mean, that's something you got to definitely hinder. Okay. So now we're going to pull the XP off there because he is going to untap. These are going to come here. See how this switched, though? See how this switched now? Because it looked like Thanos was just crushing. And Thanos, honestly, is the meta deck right now. I mean, it's sort of like, okay, Star-Lord won the 10K, but there was a Storm deck, a Star-Lord deck, and then there was all different variants of Thanos decks. And from looking at versusheadquarters.com, they seem, it seems to be kind of the consensus that Thanos is sort of like the staple beater deck that you have to sort of, deal with. It's got a lot of control. It's got a lot of heavy hitters. Storm is a little bit trickier, but I like playing Storm, I think, the best. And then the Star-Lord deck is really cool, too, because he kind of just levels up by recruiting people. So he's just a really good main character. All right. So we're going to deal now 2 cards to Thanos. Let's bring the Hulk out or something. Oh, come on, man. 2 Luke Cages. 2 Luke Cages, which isn't bad. So we've got these. So let's take a look. Do I want to put out a resource? How many do I have? 2, 4, 6, 7. I'm at 7. There's no 8 drops. I mean, yes, I'm slowing mine down. What am I going to put out? Hulk and a 1, So I'm just going to leave it. Because these are all going to power up different guys. So Green Goblin powers up. So that can help you in combat. So I will put out Luke Cage. He's going to help. And I can't activate his ability now so he doesn't get stunned when he attacks, which is cool. So there we go with that. Now we need to have somebody hit Storm because she's getting too big for her britches. All right, so 5/6. She's actually a 6/7. He's a 7/6. We can power him up too, and we can activate that stun ability, which you almost wouldn't want to do because, well, let's see. He can sack a guy on there, a Solar Jet. So we're gonna watch this through here. So Luke goes here, and Luke's going to be 7/6 on a 6/7. We're going to go ahead and flip this ability because we're going Hulk on this sucker, and we don't care about the Infinity Gauntlet. So that's going to prevent him from stunning. Now Storm, oh, see, I forgot what we had here. So Storm has the BAMF, which allows you to switch the defender, which is going to piss Luke Cage off, or you can put a +1/+1 counter on her to beef her up. Now, what would I do as Storm? Would I try to get the beef? Because that's a 7/6, 6/7. That would go to a 7/8. I can always have this in reserve. Now he could go to here. That clears him. So there's a lot of thought here. Now there's a lot of meta happening, and of course I know what's in the deck, so it's probably better to play the BAMF because I know that there's a Luke Cage power up in there. But let's just do it. I'll just flip a coin. I don't know. What would you guys play? I know this tries to be interactive. There's a little bit of a delay, but uh, what would you guys play? I'll give you guys a second to catch up there. I wonder if my chat has stopped. So the choice is BAM for squad tactics. Doesn't seem to have been. There's more people watching now. Yeah. Do. Somebody say something. First one to say BAM for uncanny defense. Or sorry, BAM for squad tactics. First one in wins. Don't all speak at once. Okay. I wonder if the chat's broken. Da-da-da. So it's BAMF or Danger Room. I wonder if my chat's. Oh. Oh, so you want to know the cards. Cool. Sorry, I thought I had sufficiently explained those earlier. I guess not. So squad tactics is going to give her a +1/+1. So that's all it's going to do. It's just going to just put her that one step out of reach. And then BAMF is going to switch it and make it so that the attack actually goes to the Agent Venom here. So do we put her one step out of reach, knowing that maybe he might have a buff? BAMF? Okay, you got the BAMF. So the BAMF, probably the better play, I think, in general. So now Luke's going to hit this guy. It's got the 5. I could now beef up Luke, yeah, because it's an X-Men. I got an X-Men out there. And do that. I'm out of cards, but I can stun him back. So I'm going to take him with me. Either way, Thanos levels up. So I'm going to say I would play squad tactics. Actually, that kind of makes sense that you would say do BAMF then, because you know, oh, I've got BAMF. I can beef him up. But so I could beef up Luke Cage, but there's no reason to. Actually, that's stupid. Why would I do squad tactics? Because he's not going to stun anyway. I know that from before. Sorry. All right, so he stuns. And he dies. He KOs. And he won't stun because remember earlier I activated a special ability. This puts an XP on Thanos, which then levels him up. Now he's still got 4 on him. And he has access to the Infinity Gauntlet ability, which doesn't really matter because we're not doing that hot on the locations. So there's that. But it's cool that we leveled him up because he's a 6/6. These two can team attack now. So that's a 10. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Now that's a 5. Oh, here we go. So I will play the +1/+1 there. There's just to hit Thanos back. All right, so I'm sorry for the replay here, but would I have attacked with Thanos? Well, yes, because there's no way for me to stun Storm. And as it looks now, I'm already at a 6/7 though. So okay, so would I have attacked Storm with Thanos, thinking that Thanos would be, he'd be 1? I don't think I would. I think I'd leave that. I think I'd leave that because I know that I can get something else out because he's 1 hit from death, you know. So I don't think I would leave that just like that. Okay. There's absolutely no reason to do that. Okay, so now it is Storm's turn. So we're gonna draw 2 cards. Deadpool, too bad. Another BAMF. Okay, so we're gonna go back here. There's no reason to put a resource out. We've got Deadpool. He can team attack. He can team attack, which is cool. So this is 6, because we got the +1, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, because if they're team attacking, even though they're different. Oh, he's an X-Men anyway. Keep thinking he's not on a team. He's actually is an X-Men. Because it says mercenary there. So I can throw both these on there. We can beef. Let's do that. We're going to go after Thanos. Bam, bam, like that. So we're going to do this attack here. And so 1, 2, 3, 6, 11 on Thanos. What can Thanos do? Can he do anything about that? This is where maybe I should have moved Thanos in the back if I wasn't going to, I'm going to leave it because we're going a little bit long and I got to be done here in a few minutes. But on that last turn, because I didn't attack with these two, I should have thought in my formation step to just throw both of these back there, put Luke in front, maybe even put Nick Fury in front. That might have been something that I would have done, is put both those in front. Because Nick Fury at this point, he's adding a little bit of an attack, but I don't need his special ability anymore to get more resources out. So I might as well throw him out there. He's got some defense on him. I would have had an extra attack. I'm not going to go through and reverse that, but that's something that you would have had to consider there. Okay. So anyway, they're going to swing at Thanos. Thanos has got nothing as far as I can see. So Thanos is going to take another stun. So we're going to add one. So he's one from death there. I'm not going to cover him over. So then he'll recover on the next turn. And then we're going to draw 2 cards. Now Thanos has some good card advantage here. So he might be in good shape. So 2 cards for Thanos. Let's see. We have that and we have a Ronin. Come on! Let's get some big guys out there. All right. You got to say this is, to me, this is interesting still. Because it's been a swing. Both sides have been missing drops. So it's like the Storm decks, is it better because it can handle missing drops better? I don't know. So we're going to throw out here this sucker. And so what? Oh, look at that. We have almost the Infinity Gauntlet. So now, okay. So we might hit the Infinity Gauntlet. All right, enough dilly-dally. Do want to put a character out or more? Well, we already have, we could throw out here, just this other guy here. He's got, he costs 2. So there's that. Swing at Storm. Storm is now 7-8. She's a 7-8. She's got a Bamf. But you don't know that. So we can just swing for the fences here. Let's move these villains together. So if we put these together. See, would I put Thanos in back? You bet I would. There's no reason to leave him up front now. Not when he's almost dead. So what do we have here, though? We want to try to hit Storm. We've got these 2 Avengers. Now, this is what I should have done last turn. So we've got 7-8. Now, I could use Luke Cage. I could use his ability. Did I not use that before? I think I did flip it over. Oh, I did. That was the Avenger one. Sorry. I want to make sure I shouldn't have had this ability. I'm pretty sure I did it right. If I didn't, then you get the point. But so that's 7-8 on 8. Yeah. So then I would of course play Bamf. That would direct it over to Deadpool. And he's a 4-5. And so he could deal damage back to Nick Fury and stun him. But I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to discard Nick Fury. He gets a +1/+1. So that's a 2-6. So he can't stun any of those. He's going to die. Okay. Now Storm's up. This is 7. Can they? And they don't have any cards. Oh no, they have these 2 cards. Green Goblin. So that's 8. They have enough to do. So I'm going to swing with those. Because who cares if I lose one of these? I've got board advantage. Okay. So he's a 5-4. So you can stun any of these. He doesn't really matter because he's a little bit bigger and he'll have a counter on him. He should have a counter on him from playing that card. So we'll stun him off the board there. She'll take a stun. So so they're both at 1 away. So we're going to do the untap there. And this is Thanos' card, right? Okay. So we're going to get 2 cards here. Okay, so we've got a Storm. That's a power up. Oh, we would have lost these counters up here because she got stunned. I hope we didn't miss that earlier. So I'll keep the Storm back in my hand. Put him out. We got to really go after Thanos. Now we have flight. So that's a 5. We're at a 5 only. This would put him at, oh, look at this. So I drew the Storm. That's going to put her at a 6-7. So I discard that. We got the 6-7. So these guys can't, the Doc Ock's gone. Remember, Doc Ock could have grabbed her. blocked it. She's going to go in. What does Thanos have? Nothing. So that's going to be the last hit on Thanos. Thanos is going to stun. That's his 6-1. Because I drew that storm, she's got flight, of course. She can fly over the front row. Nobody's going to block her from that, and that's going to be the ball game. So hopefully that was enjoyable. Um, that was fun. That was cool. I love playing these decks. And I was hoping to play, I don't know why I thought, but usually these would take an hour no matter what game I play. I was going to play the Star-Lord deck there. He's really cool and fun to play. All three of these decks are built with one core set. Now the main deck list I show you in the description, but I made tweaks to these. Mostly the locations and plot twists. I think I tweaked a couple of the characters. I can post the full deck list. I'm not going to tear these apart anytime soon if you want to know those. Just because it's kind of nice because you can build all three of these decks. They're competitive. They're fun to play against each other, and I think they're good decks. You know, obviously they're based on the 10K decks. And you can play them out of just one box. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to let it hang out here for a little bit. There are some of you still watching, and see if there's any questions or anything like that. But I recommend it. We're going to do, myself and the guys from Rolling Dice and Taking Names, I think in a couple of weeks. I want to say 2 weeks from today. I want to say it's 2 weeks from today. Don't quote me on it. But we're going to do sort of like a top 5 Google Hangout of LCG style games. So games like Versus, Netrunner. My personal taste, I throw Mage Wars in there as an LCG. Um, Imperial Settlers I actually count as an LCG. That's not going to be in my top 5, just for other reasons I'll talk about on the Hangout. Different criteria, it would be in my top 5 because I really like Imperial Settlers. So it's not because the game isn't as good as some of the other games. But we're going to talk more about that in the Hangout. Because you've got games like Lord of the Rings card game, which is a really good game, I think. But it's not really like a Netrunner or Versus. Like, to me, Versus and Netrunner are sort of directly competitive. You know, Game of Thrones LCG versus Ashes, Netrunner. Doomtown is another good one. That's a good example. And I'm trying to, there's a bunch of them, right? There's a bunch of games like Epic, and the reason we're waiting is because we want to get some games in of Epic. My copy of Epic actually comes tomorrow, and I'm not sure if that qualifies. I think it does. But that's kind of its own beast. Um, I haven't played anything for Doomtown above the base set. I actually got rid of my copy of the base set, and that's the other thing with these LCGs. Like Doomtown is awesome. But it's like, how many LCGs can you run in your house, or in your store? It's crazy. I mean, design-wise, Doomtown is like brilliant. It's just crazy, The whole like drawing the poker hands for initiative and drawing the poker hands for the battles, and some of the cool like magic and tech decks, sort of the engineering decks are pretty neat. But this one's definitely easier to play than like a Netrunner or Doomtown. And I think it's a little bit more in depth than Game of Thrones, but I think that's more to do with I'm kind of spoiling the top 5, but I'm just rambling. This may or may not have bearing on what's in the top 5, but like Game of Thrones, I think you need both core sets. This one you're out the gate with the single core set, and that's all you need. And this is just 3 decks. I mean, where's the rule book here? Here. How many main characters are there? Because just swapping out the main character really affects the thing. So you have 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Is that right? 16 main characters? I think it's in the contents here somewhere. But yeah, it's 16 main characters, so you can really tweak your decks around that and have a good time with it. So, anyway, hope you had fun with it. I'm going to go ahead and kill it off here. But I appreciate everybody watching and hanging out and commenting and all that cool stuff. It's a good excuse for me to play Versus, so that's a little bit selfish for doing this, of course. And I think these are my 2 favorite decks. I really like playing the Star-Lord deck too, but I really like the Storm deck because I don't know. I hope you could see some of the interesting decisions with it. And the Thanos deck is just really fun to either ramp up to Infinity Gauntlet or, in this case, the Incredible Hulk, who just comes out and just like completely wrecks. Maybe I'll just kind of close with that. Let me dig out a Hulk here. I really like this Hulk card. And apparently there's a decent Hulk main character deck, which I haven't tried to build, which is pretty neat. And the other decks that I've seen are, oh, literally the Hulk was like the next two turns I would have drawn Hulk. So that was a good time for Storm to kill him. They were in the top 4 cards of the deck. So this one is, okay, so he's a 7/7, but if he has a wound, then you can put 7 +1/+1 counters on him. And I think the reason he doesn't do as well against Storm as he does against the Star-Lord deck is because there's nothing really that the Storm deck can do to stun him, where the Star-Lord deck, the Hulk can actually throw himself against a character in that Star-Lord deck that's a little bit bigger, get himself stunned, and then beef up to, like, just crazy level, where if you're playing Storm, you just don't attack him, and then you just kind of absorb and hopefully be at the point where, Storm can be protected or whatever. So anyway, so that is that, and I will talk to everybody later. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye. Stop streaming.